Texas had to be this big, so we could fit so much spirit inside it. We had to have this much sky, so there's room for so many of us under it. Texas needed this many miles of highway, so we can follow our own road as far as it takes us and still be home. And our symbol had to be a single star.
Why, hello there. My name is Chakraborti, and I am a park ranger here at Big Bend National Park. Now today with my partner here, Koushal, Reddy, we have put together a little informational video for your entertainment as well as information. With that being said, I will let it roll on by. Please do enjoy. Located on the Rio Grande here out in West Texas, Big Bend National Park is open 24 hours a day, every day of the whole year. It costs $30 per vehicle to enter into the park. Now with that being said, let's go over some of the ground rules and framework you need to know to enter the park. First of all, as always, drive carefully and within the speed limit. Especially be careful of deer and javelina. These can jump out at you, cause a lot of roadway accidents. Next, wood and ground fires are strictly prohibited. Additionally, black bears, javelinas, coyotes, as well as venomous snakes, scorpions, and spiders are all found in this park. Do not feed them, and please exercise the utmost caution. Finally, while you are enjoying your time in the park, be sure to carry around plenty of water, 1 gallon per person, and avoid hiking during midday. Thank you.
Now let's move on to the major attractions here at Big Bend National Park, starting off with the hike Santa Elena Canyon. This is one of Big Bend's most spectacular hikes, with a 1.7-mile round-trip walk that follows the edge of the Rio Grande River and to the Santa Elena Canyon, where sheer 1,500 feet high walls rise up on each side of the river above you. Now that is huge. Now, moving on to the soak in the hot springs. I love me some hot springs. One of the most popular things to do here in the Rio Grande Village is to take a dip in the 105-degree Fahrenheit waters of natural hot springs on the edge of the Rio Grande. If you get too hot, you can cool off with a quick dip in the river that's nearby. The primitive pool is located just a quarter of a mile from the parking area, making it accessible and great for new visitors. Now last but definitely not least is the drive in the Ross Maxwell Scenic Drive. For a beautiful drive throughout the park, do head on down to Ross Maxwell Scenic Drive, running through some outstanding desert scenery here at Big Bend National Park. The Mule Ear Springs Trail is accessed from this highway, but even if you're not up for a hike, you can still stop at the overlook and see these twin peaks, the cores of the ancient volcanoes. Now back to my brother from another mother, Jay Check.
Now, let's talk about something we all interested in. Biomes. Now, we got all manner of biomes here at Big Bend, but the three I'm going to talk to you about today are estuaries, deserts, and temperate grasslands. In terms of estuaries, the Rio Grande is an area where fresh water and salt water can mix. Now during the dry season there might not be as much fresh water. This makes the river a little bit more salty. In terms of the deserts, the upper region of the park is where you'll find our deserts primarily. The seasons in the hot and dry deserts are usually very, very hot during the summer and warm for the rest of the year. During winter, these deserts get very, very little rainfall. Let's talk about temperate grasslands. Grasslands are found in the lower region of Big Bend National Park, and they have some of the richest soils in the world. The rain over the grasslands traditionally occurs in late spring to early summer, and some of the primary crop plants in this area are, of course, grasses as well as trees. Oh, I didn't see you there. Now it's time to talk about one of my favorite topics, the weather. Now, here in Big Bend National Park, sunshine is abundant much of the year. Spring is typically warm and pleasant, and that is when we have the highest number of visitors here at the park. Summers, like I said before, are very hot. The floors can reach over 100 degrees Fahrenheit. However, the top of the mountains, such as the Chiso Mountains, can be 10 to 20 degrees cooler, so make sure to go up there to them peaks. The rainy season runs between around May to September. During this time, there are heavy thunderstorms. Please exercise proper caution. Now, let's talk about fauna, or as I like to call them, critters. Now, my favorite critter here at the park is the mountain lion. Mountain lion, their preferred diet consists of deer, javelina, and rodents. Mountain lions play an important role in limited herbivore populations, which does help to maintain the ecosystem. Second, I'd like to talk about the collared peccary, also known as the javelina. Now, the collared peccary is found as far south as Argentina and as far north as here in Texas. They act as seed dispersers as well as prey for the larger predators in the park. Finally, the old favorite, the western diamondback rattlesnake. This venomous rattlesnake causes more fatalities than any other snake in the United States. That's a fact for you. Rattlesnakes are very good at controlling rodent populations, and they will also eat small mammals, fish, and sometimes even invertebrates.
Thank you very much, Jerry. My name is Koushal, and we're going to be moving on to the Florida. So first off, there's the agaves. These are low-grown, evergreen plants with succulent leaves. The colonies are often formed in underground sprouts, and these are great for the ecosystem here at Big Bend because they are major components of arid and semi-arid ecosystems, and they're a major food source for small animals and especially bats on their migratory patterns across the Sonoran Desert. Now let's move on. Next is the sopal, which is composed of a cluster of flattened leaves, and they have hooked teeth, so be on the lookout for those. And these are great for the soil because they encourage nitrogen fixation, and their bean pods are edible. Now, last but definitely not least are the 45 species of oak that are found across the expanse of the Big Bend National Park. And these are great because they provide food for many different animals in the form of acorns. They serve as home, shelter for smaller creatures, and cover the birds during the months where the trees have dropped their leaves. That's why I love these oaks.
While there's a lot to love here at Big Bend National Park, that is not to say that we haven't our fair share of problems. The most prominent one would be air pollution. This heavily comes from the industrial electrical plants on the other side of the border, where they have led to us having excessive haze and smog here in our fine little national park. Another issue would be acid rain. Now this comes from sulfur dioxide gas, and it is heavily dangerous to our beloved planet. Finally, one issue that has become prominent in recent years is the condition of the Rio Grande. Due to damming and irrigation projects, the flow of the river has heavily been altered. Additionally, chemicals and industrial products floating in the river have caused it to deteriorate, and many of my favorite species of fish and wildlife have unfortunately died off. But no need to leave you on a sad note like that. That ain't me. I'll have you know that Big Bend is a gift from those who came before us, who worked hard to promote and protect the area as a national park. Today, we have the opportunity to enjoy and learn from it and preserve this park for future generations. With that being said, I welcome you to come to the finest national park in Texas. Please, come here, see for yourself, and enjoy. Ranger J out.